All right, welcome in. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Let's get you caught up with what's going on in the NBA last night. Toronto knots the series at 2-2 with Milwaukee going back to game 5. So what was the key for Toronto, which obviously fell behind 0-2 in an 0-2 hole, losing both at Milwaukee? What went different north of the border? Well, I just think it was Marc Gasol playing well. Now, obviously, they got combined 48 points off the bench from Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, and who's the other? Serge Ibaka. So, and George Hill has just been sensational these entire playoffs off the bench for Milwaukee. Finally, he had he wasn't horrible. In fact, he only took 2 shots from the field. It was 1 of 2. But Bledsoe was horrible. Bledsoe's 1 of 16 on wide open shots in the Eastern Conference Finals. Connaughton has been great off the bench the whole playoffs for Milwaukee. He had a so-so game last night. And and Malcolm Brogdon, he was way off last night, 2 of 11 from the field. He's been playing spectacular though, especially when you consider he had missed a month or so with an injury, a little more than a month. But those guys did not have a good game last night. And then Toronto's bench, as I said, coming up big, and they needed them because Pascal Siakam had played 51 minutes in Game 3, the double overtime win. Kawhi had played 52 minutes. Neither one of those guys had their, were in top form last night, a little fatigued. Lowry was terrific, 25 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, only 1 turnover. When you have a supposedly off game, as I'm referencing with Kawhi, 19.7 boards, 4 steals, pair of block shots, not too bad. Although that was his second fewest points scored in the entire playoffs. And it was Siakam's fewest in the post season. So we're 2-2, 120 to 102 pimp slap for Toronto. So we go back to Milwaukee for Game 5, and we had most books favored by 7 all day today as we're coming to you on Wednesday afternoon. But I saw the Westgate and a couple other books have just moved to 6.5 here in the last hour or so. And as I look at my live odds here for a sec, forgive me, total 217 at most spots. Toronto around plus 240 on the money line. Now, the updated series price at sportsbook.ag is Milwaukee minus 260, Toronto plus 220, and the offshore book has Golden State as the minus 225 chalk to win the NBA Finals, and Milwaukee is at plus 250, and the Raptors have 10-1 odds. Now, the Westgate out in Vegas has odds for the 2 different potential matchups for the NBA Finals. The Westgate, Jay Cornegie and company, have the Warriors as minus 220 favorites against Milwaukee with the Bucks plus 180 on the comeback. Golden State minus 400 for a potential series with Toronto with the Raptors at plus 300. So tomorrow night, Game 5 tip, 8:30 Eastern on TNT. Game 6 back in Toronto on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern if necessary. Game 7 on Monday in Milwaukee at 8:30 Eastern as well. And regardless of when this series ends, whether it's a Game 6 or Game 7, the NBA Finals are slated to begin at 9:07 p.m. Eastern on ABC next Thursday, May 30th. So as we come to you on May 22nd right now, Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala, they're both officially listed as questionable for Game 1. DeMarcus Cousins is listed as out, but they maintain hope that he could give them some minutes in the NBA Finals at some point. So, couple things. Now, Milwaukee have not this is only the second time they've lost back-to-back games all year long. Think about that. What, 12 postseason games, 82 regulars? They play 94 games now. They are, I'm looking on my article here. 70-25 straight up, 57-34-4 against the spread for the season. They are 39-9 straight up, 29-17-2 against the spread at home. They're 6-1 both straight up and against the spread at home during these playoffs. Meanwhile, the Raptors, 29-19 straight up on the road, 22-6 against the spread and 48 road assignments. Toronto, 68-30 straight up, 46-52 to the number. So, in the previous situation where Milwaukee was looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak, they they won. Wait, no, I'm looking at their that was their underdog situation. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's situations where I was right. Toronto. When Toronto's been an underdog of 7 points or more this year, it's only happened twice. They're 1-1 both straight up and against the spread. On December 12th, they went out to Oracle and beat Golden State down 113-93 as a 7.5-point dog. That was their richest dog spot of the year. They were also a 7-point dog at Philadelphia on December 22nd and got that ass kicked 126-101. Now, here's what I was looking for. So Milwaukee, they had won 7 games in a row, several of those starting their West Coast road swing. And then on March 2nd, they lost 115-111 at Utah. And then 2 nights later, they lost 114-105 at Phoenix. In fact, I think I laid the chalk with the Bucks that night, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, so looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak, like they will be tomorrow night in Game 5. The last time they faced that type of spot, March 7th, and they put it on Indiana 117-98 as a 10-point home chalk. Didn't mention Chris Middleton was sensational last night in the losing effort. 30 points, 11 of 15 from the field, 4 of 7 from downtown. Also 6 rebounds, 7 assists without an assist. Or I'm sorry, 7 assists without a turnover. So they got a great performance out of Chris Middleton. But the bench which has been so steady for them throughout the year came up a little lame in Game 4. So there you are. You know, we've got the odds for you for tomorrow night's Game 5. We've got your updated series price. We got the series prices for Golden State and the 2 potential matchups in the finals that start in 8 days. We won't have any clarity on Kevin Durant or Iguodala, and maybe even a little more clarity on Cousins for, I mean, unless they're just totally recovered and we can get video of them going full speed, shooting jumpers at practice or whatever. Unless that's the case, and maybe it could be for Iguodala. I don't see that being the case for Durant. We're really not going to know much about whether Durant's going to be ready for Game 1 until, middle of next week at the earliest, if not all the way up to game time on Thursday night. So you're caught up in the NBA. I'm Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you next time.